Once upon a time in a faraway land, there was Rudy.
Diet does not have a place in my office. It's a dirty word.
Jordan, hello, good morning. How are you? Thank you so much for coming in. I'm trying to get myself situated. I'm going to be on here for about an hour, maybe a little bit over, and then I'm going to end the stream because, as you already know, we're trying to keep it down to a minimum. But good morning. How are you? Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate you. We're going to wait for the rest of them to come on through. I realize that it takes a little while because of the ads for some people to come in. And that's fine. That's how, we get paid through our AdSense. One of the ways, anyway. Okay, I'm just waiting. And I'm going to start. Good morning, everyone. If you're coming in, please let me know who's in here. We got 4 people in the building. We're talking dirt today. And this is an important topic as a gardener, especially as a new gardener. This is something that you really need to know about because the soil is the base of your everything for the garden. It's the main component. If you don't have good soil, you're not going to have a good growing season. And some of us in different states, mainly in the southern states, deal with a lot of clay soil. So with clay soil, you're gonna have to change it up. So a lot of people that I know, some people that I know who deals with clay soil started raised beds so that they can bring a better soil to the garden and contain it within a raised bed. And that's not a bad idea. That's actually a great idea. Melanie, the moderator, good morning. Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate you. That's not a bad idea at all when you have when you're bringing in Tisa Renee Green. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate you. It's not a bad idea when you're dealing with clay soil, but the main component of your garden is your soil. You have to have rich, healthy soil to have a very rich, lush garden. Your soil is going to be everything. If you don't have bad soil, it doesn't matter how expensive your starts is, how expensive your seeds is. It's just not going to work out well for you with bad soil. Your plant will struggle. Not saying that you won't have success, but I am saying that you will struggle and it won't be bountiful and lush as you want it to be. So your soil is going to play a main key in everything. So one of the ways that we can build our garden soil, if you haven't already started, and you still have I still got about 4 months to go before my growing season actually officially kicks off, and the ground is frozen outside for the most part. What I did before winter came is I prepped my soil. When the leaves started to fall, I put all my leaves over in my raised bed. I mulched them up, put them over in the raised bed. All through the growing season, I also conditioned my soil. If you remember, I took my comfrey plant and I chopped it up and I put it over in the beds. I did that in a couple of videos back, closing out the growing season. So today we're going to talk about some things that's going to actually be beneficial to your garden and actually going to help your garden in an organic way. Miss Farola, thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate you. So your soil is going to be key. Now, number one, building your soil. What is the best way to build your soil? Everybody knows compost is good for the soil. But for a lot of us, it's not convenient to have our own compost piles in our area because our garden area is so small. You also can start composting inside with your kitchen scraps. So that's another way that you can bring compost to your garden, by composting your kitchen scraps inside and bringing them out to the garden and amending them in the garden or letting them break down. Last year I bought a compost tumbler for about $30 at Aldi's. It's an outdoor compost tumbler, but it's made for kitchen scraps. I didn't use it yet. I put it together and I put it in the greenhouse. I haven't used it. But that's one of the things that you can use to store your compost, or you can get you a 5-gallon bucket with a lid on it. And all your kitchen scraps, none dairy, no meats, just your vegetable scraps, no fruit peels as far as oranges or citrus. But everything else can go right in that compost pile and it will start to break down. So that's one way that we can compost in a small space, is doing it inside. But composting is very beneficial to your garden. It's good for the soil. And there's things that you can put in your compost to actually help break that compost down. You hear a lot of people saying, talking about coffee grinds. You hear people talking about other different things that they comfrey. It's very good with your compost. It'll help break that compost down. When you chop that comfrey, throw it over in that compost pile, it helps break it down. Eggshells are also supposed to help break your compost down a little bit quicker. So to me, the finer that you break your stuff up in the compost, the quicker that it's going to break down. If you have leaves and you've mulched them up in your lawnmower and poured them over in there, and you got your grass clippings, you pour them over in there, that's all going to just break down even faster than a big tree log that's going to take decades to, not decades, that's an over exaggeration, but it's going to take a whole lot longer to break down than your compost. Leaf mulch. Take those leaves that you had gathered up for the fall and you can put them inside of a black trash bag, wet them down, tie them up, sit them on the side, and let that break down over your winter period. And hopefully come spring, that leaf mulch will be then broke down and you can add that to your soil. That's like, they call it the black gold, which is the leaf mulch. Compost is just a good way to build the soil quickly. There's other ways that you can build your soil. I've seen people who put food scraps directly into their garden. Robert Banks, hello. Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate you. I've seen people take their food scraps and put them right directly into their garden. Now, I do that to a certain degree. I have a big tube, PVC piping sewer tube that I cut maybe about a foot, 8 inches to a foot. And it's a wide tube. I drill holes all in it. And I dig the hole and I put that tube right in the middle of my garden bed. If you go back to a video, you'll probably see it. I'll take my kitchen scraps and I'll put it directly into that hole. So, and put a top on it or a big heavy brick on it. That way I don't have to worry about rodents trying to get to it. The only things that will get to it is what need to get to it, which is the worms. They'll go in and out those holes, eat on that, come back out the holes, and poop right into the bed. So that's another good way that we can amend our soil and get our soil ready. And that you can do during the growing season. So think about those big tubes, drill a bunch of holes in them, put them down in the ground, get a top. They have the tops for them at Home Depot, and you just put it up there and put a rock on there to make sure there don't no rodents or nothing try to kick it off, go down there and eat what you got in there. Another one is animal manure. We got chicken manure, we got rabbit manure, we got cow manure. Those are good for the garden as well. The chicken manure you will have to age, meaning that you can't just get it straight out the coop or fresh manure and put it in your garden. That has to sit for some weeks before you're able to actually incorporate those into your garden. Also, rabbit manure you could put directly in there. That does not have to age. Manure part, but you know, like I said, do your research, look it up, because I don't really use cow manure, and if I do, I've bought it from the store because we really don't have any farms around here that's close enough for me to try to go and get some manure for them. So that's another way that you can get your soil ready, is by using manure. Now I ordered my rabbit pellets, which is manure, from Amazon one year, and it did wonderful in my garden. It was fresh. I put it out in my garden and used it on my watermelon plants, because my watermelon plants, if you're growing watermelons, they like a lot of nitrogen. So that's another thing that you could do. Candy's Garden, hello, how are you? Thank you so much for coming in. I think we just met yesterday in, if I'm not mistaken, it was yesterday or the day before yesterday. It was either in Green Organic Love Live, or it was in the Morning Gardeners Live. I'm not sure which one it was, but welcome. Thank you for coming at my daughter's dentist appointment and noticed you were live. So I decided to stop and say hello. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that, and I hope all is well at the dentist. So that's another way that we can build our soil right there, is with our animal manure. So if you're raising chickens and you're a gardener, that's just a win-win. You're getting eggs. I was watching Angela Busy Bee Gardener Homestead channel, and oh my goodness, her chickens finally started to lay eggs, which was awesome. Then she had a big container of poop that came out of the coop, which was even more awesome. It was like a win-win, because you got fresh eggs, and then you have fresh manure that you can let it age and then put into your garden and have your garden just thriving for the whole year. So that's pretty good. Yes, getting those eggs, it's an exciting thing for those that have chickens. I think that that's one of the main goals, is for your chickens to start producing eggs. And it seemed like Angela chickens just got big overnight. And it actually had been several weeks. But that was pretty awesome to watch that journey with her on her having her chickens. So I thought that was pretty cool. Also, mixing organic matter into your soil. We already talked about that. That was the grass, that was the leaves. All of that is organic matter. And that I will put in a compost pile instead of straight into my garden. Unless it's the end of the season, then you might want to cover your garden with leaves or with grass and let it break down over time. But some people have the the chop and drop method where they do take their clippings and they chop them down and it just lays all over the garden, and they're pretty successful with it. I haven't did that, but I have seen others who have done it. So another one is buying plants that's nutrient enrichment for the soil. And one of the main plants is a tap root that goes down 8 to 10 feet. And that's a main root from that plant, and it'll go all the way down in the ground 8 to 10 feet. Do anybody know what plant that is? And this will help build your soil too, because what's happening is it's bringing up that nutrients from the ground way below. Melanie Williams, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that. Melanie, moderator, thank you again. Thank you. I appreciate that. Carolina Gardner, hello, and I am glad that you emailed me and let me know that you got your gift card. I appreciate that, because I was kind of worried for a minute there. Sometimes my writing is not legible, and I have to slow it down a little bit and make sure that the postman can read it. Thank you again, Melanie, the moderator, for that super chat. I appreciate you. Okay, so the question was, what is that plant in the garden that's beneficial for the garden? That's comfrey. You heard people talk about it, and a lot of people don't know what's the benefit of comfrey. Comfrey has several benefits to it. Medicinal purposes is one of them, and then in the garden is another one. Now with comfrey, that root will grow 10 to 8 feet down into the soil. So way down there, you pulling all those minerals up to that plant. All of that nutrients that your plants are going to need, you take it, you chop it, you can break it up, and you drop it. All you need, if you are growing comfrey, you only need one plant. Now there's two types of comfreys. As far as Bocking numbers, I think it's a 4 and a 14. It's been a while since I bought comfrey, because I just bought one plant and I've had it for years and haven't had to buy any more. But I encourage every gardener, serious gardener, to get comfrey in their life. This summer, I'm probably going to split up this comfrey. You know, you can split it up like you do your hostas, and you put it in different places, and start another one somewhere else in the garden, so that I'll have 2 stacks. But that comfrey grows so well. And it started off as a little small plant. It grows really good, and the garden loves it. It breaks down fast. It's good to put in your compost pile to help break your compost down as well. Robert Banks, hello, how are you? Thank you so much for coming in, Robert Banks. I was thinking about you the other day. I appreciate you coming in. Some way, somehow, we got disconnected, because I was looking at Total Creativity's live stream, and I was like, where is Robert Banks? I haven't seen him in a while. That's what jogged my memory back to you, but I do appreciate you, and I appreciate you coming in. And right back at you, Robert. I appreciate that. So another way that we can add nitrogen enriched plants to our garden, like I said, the comfrey is a very great way to do it. If you don't grow comfrey, you need to research it and think about growing it. Now, there's 2 types of comfreys, like I said. One of the comfreys you got to be careful with, because if you're a person who tills your garden, oh yes, definitely. And I appreciate you. I'm going to, after this, some way, somehow, YouTube has been disconnecting me from people, but I'm going to go back after this live stream and reconnect back up with you, Robert, because I remember you grinding to get your watch hours at the office, and I was like, now that's some serious stuff. You was making it happen, so you inspired me in a lot of ways doing that also. The thing about the comfrey is two different kinds. One type of comfrey, you can't till it because it's invasive. It's very invasive. If you till it, you're basically spreading it throughout your whole yard, and you look up and you have comfrey going everywhere. So make sure you research the two Baki numbers, because I think one is by drop seeds and the other one doesn't drop seeds. It starts, you can kind of break it from the plant. The one that comes in a plant form that does not drop the seeds and keep reproducing is the one that I have. Now the roots will grow and cause other shoots, but it's not as wild as the other one. So you have to be careful. Also, on a different note with being careful, when you out buying your plants at Home Depot or any nursery or order, remember, think about how you're going to plant your plants. Some plants are very invasive. For example, the raspberries can be very invasive to your yard. So, side note, think about that. DD Pharmacy, hello, welcome. Thank you so much for coming in. Angela Busy Bee Garden and Homestead, thank you for being here. I was just talking about you and your chickens laying eggs and giving you all that good fertilizer for the growing season. That's true, Robert. That's true. And I'm glad that you appreciate that. Howie Jones, good morning. How are you? Thank you for coming in. Have you heard anything, any news about your channel so far, Howie? I hate that happened. That's why we have to be careful with our channels. If you want to share, Howie, in the chat what happened with your channel. This is Food Forest Permaculture. It's not my story to share, but if he would like to share what happened with his chat to kind of let the rest of us know that we need to be careful, please go ahead and do so in the chat. DD Pharmacy, how are you today? I hope all is well. It's good to see you. All right, so the next thing, like I was saying with the comfrey, with the comfrey, you have to be careful. Also, the side note that I was saying was invasive plants. If you do not contain certain things that you grow, and I'm glad that Green Organic Glove is here. Think about a place where you put your raspberries, and you have to stay on top of them, because when those new canes come up, you got to be on top of them because they will be invasive and they will spread. Also, another plant that will spread is blackberries. So any of those type of plants, you have to be careful where you put them and how you put them. And that's normally why I put them in containers to kind of contain them. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with putting them in the ground. Just know that you have to stay on top of them so that they won't spread through your whole yard. And a good plant for those who want to get raspberries, that will give you, because some raspberries grow on the old cane. I'm sure somebody in this chat's going to help me with the proper word, primer cane. And some grow on new cane. Heritage raspberries give you 2 crops a year, and they grow on the first year growing cane. So if you go get a heritage raspberry from Home Depot or Lowe's and you put it in the ground, that same year you're going to get raspberries. If you get like a Cambay, you have to wait till the second year to get raspberries. And that's something else that you need to know about your plants. Do a little research before you buy them, and know what you can get, because it's one thing to expect, and this is one of my gardening mistakes, to expect to get fruit and it don't come, because it's not going to come into the second year growth. But Heritage will grow the first year, and it will give you 2 crops a year. Howie said, yes, bad. Guys, broke into in a while back. YouTube froze my account. Same came to the door and offered you high-speed internet. Asked for a work order and call your provider. Yeah, Howie's channel was hacked. Food Forest Permaculture. And he's trying to work to try to get that back. And I really hope that you get it back, because we work so hard on our channels. And for somebody to just take it, that's crazy. And you're like the 4th person that I know who have lost their channel to hackers. That I just, people will steal anything, even your channel. That's crazy. So I really hope that you get that back, Howie, and you get that under control. So be careful, guys. There is security measures that YouTube have that you could put in place on your phone or on your account. I think it's a 2-step security measure, where if people do get a hold to your server or get a hold to your phone, if you lose your phone, a lot of us, our accounts is open on our phone, you might want to put a lock on your phone. And that's what I have, a lock on my phone. So if I lose my phone and somebody find it, they just can't go to my YouTube channel and start uploading crazy videos. So you might want to be careful with that, because that did happen to a young lady a while back, where someone had someone had actually hacked her channel, and they started putting a lot of political stuff on it back in the summer. And she really worked really hard for her channel. She had almost 6,000 subscribers, and it's just like, you work so hard to get monetized, and then you work hard to build your audience up, and for somebody to turn around and to take your channel away, it's like a kick in the teeth. It really hurts, because you work for that, and it's so easy for you to take it away and just play with it. So be careful with your channel, guys. Don't let people know your passcodes. Every email to come through to say it's YouTube, be very careful, because that's how they got the young lady back in the summer, posing as someone from YouTube, asking for her passcodes. YouTube do not ask you for your passcodes for anything. They already have all that. So please, please be careful with your channel. And Howie, I hope things work out for you. I really do. And I appreciate you coming in up under your name. And the only reason I knew it was you is because you still have that same icon, and I always knew your name was Howie. So I kind of put the 2 and 2 together. Back to this. So if you add that comfrey, you make sure that you get the right one, because if you till your garden and you got the wrong type of comfrey in your garden and you're tilling that, it'll spread through your whole area, and that you don't want. So with that being said, make sure that you know what an invasive plant is. Plants that are invasive. If you're growing mint, I highly, highly, highly recommend mint, lemon balm, lemongrass, to put those things in containers, because all of those plants are very invasive. They will take over. Mint will take over quick your whole garden and out on your grass. You have mint everywhere. It smells good when you're walking through there, but that's not what you want. So certain things you might want to contain and grow them in containers, like certain herbs like mint and lemon balm and lemongrass. Okay, so keep that in mind too. And ask questions. Now, this is my experience at Home Depot, and I know I'm getting off topic, but this is my experience at Home Depot. They're not gardeners out there. They're just vendors. They come out, they stock the stuff, they put them on the shelf, they water them. They're not even the workers that work at Home Depot. They're the vendors for Vigoro is one of the vendors that's one of the companies out there. When you go over into the yard, you'll see the Vigoro plants, and you ask them questions about it. They have no clue. They'll tell you, I just work here. I water them and that's it. That's why I like to go to nurseries. When you go to nurseries, and there's nothing wrong with Home Depot. I go there too. But if you go in there and you don't know, go over to a nursery, get the knowledge, or come home and research. What I do, if I see something that I like, I'll take my phone, I'll take a picture of the name. If I got to go sit out in the car for a minute and research it and find out everything about it, because when I bought the Cambay, I wasn't even able to get any information up on it because Vigoro was the only one, that particular company, that had that particular plant, which was the Cambay, the Cambay raspberry. And as far as blackberries, I need to really do some more research on that because I've never had luck growing them here. Let's see what we got. Oh yes, I only need one lemon balm plant. So Miss Farola is aware of what I'm talking about, how invasive those plants can be. Still have lemon balm popping up everywhere. 10 years ago. This is the thing about the lemon balm. I bought lemon balm from a young lady last year off Facebook Market. She was a gardener, and she had it going around her trees, and oh my God, you walk up the walkway, it just smelled amazing. And she was telling me how invasive it was, and to make sure I put it in a container. Now her husband was not happy because it had gotten all over into the lawn, but I put it in the container, and it didn't come back the next year. So for me in the north, it's some challenges when I put certain things in the container. I don't think I've ever had my mint to come back the next year in the containers, but I'll buy it again. I'm not putting it in the ground because that's just taking over 2 months. You have to really stay on top of that. Let's see what we got here. Mint help keeping ticks and dogs from you. Great for digesting your food and folks in trouble. Mint is very good, and they also keep mice away too. Mice do not like mint, so that's a good thing to have in the garden anyway. But put it in a container and sit it on the ground. Don't dig it in the ground because it will spread like a wildfire for sure. Okay. Let's see what else we have. We're almost through here. Plant nitrogen enriching plants, which was the comfrey. Guys, I'm telling you, if you're a gardener, new or old, and you haven't grown comfrey, definitely check comfrey out. Plants that you can use to add calcium to your garden. Things that you can use to add calcium to your garden. Now, calcium makes your plant stronger. The thing is, this is my thing. You cannot just think that you're going to put a plant in the dirt and walk away and it's going to be okay. You have to feed it just like our bodies. If we don't get the nutrients in our body and we don't get our calcium, we get weak bones. We just not healthy. So you have to feed your plant. It's no such thing as I'm not going to feed my plant, because that's not being organic. That's really wasting your time because it'll grow. But then you'll notice that it's not lush and it'll fizz out after a while. Same thing with watering. You have to water your garden. Now with Angela's Back to Eden project, in my opinion, That's going to save you so much money on watering with all those wood chips, because those wood chips is going to help retain moisture in your garden, and you don't have to do almost no watering to it. If you have those wood chips stacked a certain amount of inches, you're going to love that. You're going to absolutely love that. Lorraine, hello. Thank you and welcome for coming in. Thank you for coming in. Welcome to the live. I appreciate you. You're definitely going to love that method. Now, I don't know what other things that may come with it, but you won't have to water, that's for sure. And your plants is going to love having that moisture around them like that. Now, how can we add calcium to our garden? One thing we could do is the eggshells. Remember back in the day when there were Focus Hope? You guys remember Focus Hope, where you would go and you get the big block of cheese and they'll give you the powdered milk and they'll give you the powdered eggs and all of that? Well, I don't hear about Focus Hope a lot anymore right now. But I wish I did, because that powdered milk will be very good for your garden as well. Very good for the garden. That will bring calcium to your garden. I seen Supreme Family Garden would go to different places where they would give away, the grocery stores would give away the old food, and he would bring it home and he would put it into his garden. Well, he had milk and he just poured it into his garden. That was adding calcium to his soil to help out his plants. So that milk will help as well. Powdered milk and just regular milk will help as well in the garden. Eggshells. Another way that we can build our soil is worms. Some of us will purchase worms. Some of us have worm bins for the worm castings. And then some of us just have that. So if you see worms in your soil, when you're digging and you keep coming across worms, you have great soil. If you digging and you don't come across no worms, you might want to you need some worms in that soil. So worms are really good for the soil. Also, it keeps the soil aerated as they travel, through the soil. So worms is good for the soil as well. So if you want to add worms to your garden, I'm hearing that the red wigglers are good for composting. You can put them in your compost as well. Not just the garden, but over in your compost as well. How to Garden, welcome. Thank you so much for coming in. I'm putting up my video today, How to Garden. So hopefully I put it up today. I know I'm going to film it today. And I'll probably put it up tomorrow. So definitely look out for that. Guys, if you don't have How to Garden, check her out. She's a really awesome person. She sent me some really nice things in the mail off a first place prize that I won on her channel. So definitely check her out. They're doing some nice things over there, and I'm looking forward to watching everybody this spring jump out and get in that garden and start planting. Right now, I know a lot of us is having that itch because, getting a little cabin fever. We want to get out in the garden because this is what makes us happy. I just can't start my plants right now. I'm working on my cuttings. I'm going to get my fig cuttings is over here up under this light. And my mulberry cuttings, I'm getting that together. So I can't do my starts right. I can't bring myself to do them, and I probably should, because I do have an area where that's available for me to put them in because I have a grow tent. But I probably will start them next month, February, before the 14th. So before the middle of February, I'll start my seeds. But a lot of people are starting their seeds And for those that have long growing seasons, I'm so envious of y'all. Our growing season is quick. Get what you got to get, do what you got to do, grow what you got to grow, because it's going to be over in a minute. But we've been having an unseasonably warm year this year. The other night, it was 52 degrees in Michigan. I mean, I woke up, it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I looked outside, and it was just so calm, like eerie calm. And it was just warm, and I'm like, what? It's crazy. Then the next day, it was 20-something degrees. So that's why a lot of people here has the flu and bad colds, because our weather temperature keep changing up and down. Then we just went through a rainstorm for the longest. So definitely be careful with this weather changing up and down. You gotta dress properly for sure. I'm going back into the chat. Dolomite glycium can be used to add calcium. Okay, I'm going to look into that as well. If you don't use eggs, so Miss Farola is giving some tips on what you can use as well to add calcium to your garden. And if you're growing tomato, calcium is going to play a big part. Also, don't forget, this is one of the mistakes that a lot of gardeners make, and I'm not going to say newbie gardeners, because I made the mistake last year, and I'm not a newbie gardener. I did not add calcium to my tomatoes, and I got the blossom end rot on the bottom. But I caught it in time, because when I seen that first one browning, I hurry up and I got some magnesium, and I put in my soil just that regular Epsom salt. And I sprinkled some in there, and I broke up some eggshells, put them in there, and I watered it in, and that rectified the problem before my other fruits start coming on and getting the blossom end rot. So just do a little research. Every plant, some plants are finicky and some are not. I saw somebody say in a comment section that they heard, no, it wasn't a comment section, it was on Facebook, that cucumbers are finicky. I've never had problems growing cucumbers at all, never. I had problems with my tomatoes. You also can get blossom end rot on your bell peppers as well. So make sure that you add that calcium and that magnesium into your soil for your bell pepper. I put cat meal in my soil too. If you guys don't know what that is, you want to Google it. That's really good for the soil as well. And there's different types of manure that you can use. It's not just limited to the rabbits and to the cows, to the chickens. There's also bat guano. Which is bat poop from the bats. That I used that 1 year in a compost, and it did really, really well. Probably won't use it ever again, but it did well. So there's different things. I've heard gardeners say some crazy stuff about the different types of manure that they will use. I just try to keep it simple. I'm not trying to use all the different stuff. I don't have access to horse manure, and if I did, I don't know if I would use it. So all manure to me is not created equal, and it's probably more mental than scientific. It's probably more mental for me. If it's not from a chicken or a cow, and I'm a little hesitant about the cow, too. So if it's not from chicken manure, cow manure, or rabbit manure, those are the basic manures that I would use. And so that's something that you might want to look into. It's different things that people can use. DD Pharmacy. Let's see. Trench site around the plant and then cover the soil and cut down to the fungus and bugs with liquid milk draw. Okay, and we have, even though our season is a little longer than yours, we can get through these wild swings of temps and destroy plants. That's true. That's true, Miss Farrell. I didn't think about that, because then when you go through the rainy season, like April, May is our rainy season, and if you get out there too quick, you have those powdery mildew issues, and then those high winds will destroy your plant. Now, wind is good for your plant if it's just a brisk wind. When your plant sway like this, just a little bit, that's actually stiffening the stem and strengthening the stem. But if it's doing all of this, that's not good for the plant at all. Trust and believe. That is not good for your plant. So, but the temperature changes, it affects the plants as well. My pepper plants will not take off until I'm 75, 80 degrees. That's when they start to really start producing and growing. And this is the reason why I can't really start too quick, because if I start too quick, I have full grown plants in my house ready to go outside, and I don't know how that adjustment period would be once they're that old like that. But I will probably start next month, probably the middle of the month, and that's still early for me because normally I don't start till March. Hot Sauce Junkie Tim, he lives not too far from me. He's not in Michigan, but he's not far. And he was asking me, when do I start my plants, because he want to start his pepper garden. And I told him normally the end of March I'll start my plants. And I'll have April and May, because last year I couldn't really put nothing in the ground until the 1st of June. Normally after Mother's Day is when I started planting. I had to actually wait till the 1st of June because our weather was so crazy. But for some reason this year, I don't think our weather is going to be too bad, because so far we haven't really had a winter. I mean, we've gotten snow on Veterans Day, and we got a little dusting another day. We haven't really had a winter, like consecutive days of the snow still being in the ground. We'll get the snow, but then 3 days later it melted because the weather got warm. Thank you, Dee Dee, for coming in. I appreciate you. I'm going to be on here probably for another 12 minutes. I'm going to keep it down to an hour. I appreciate everybody who was coming in and gave me a thumbs up. Thank you so much for your support. Just going through things that's in the garden that we need to keep in mind. Our soil, our seeds. I got a question. Because there was a community post. And they asked on the community post, and didn't too many people comment their reason why. What do you think about the dollar store seeds and, let's say, Baker Creek or another nursery seeds? Now, I've had people who got seeds from the dollar store and had very successful gardens. So I'm trying to figure out what are you guys' thoughts on dollar store seeds, and not even dollar store, Home Depot seeds. The same thing with the Home Depot seeds. Yeah, it did go by fast, and I'm thankful because I got a busy day ahead of me today. So as soon as I'm off of here, I'm running out the door. I got a few things that I have to take care of. One, grow and collect your own seeds is best. I agree with you on that. And last year, Howie, I had a pretty good season, and I didn't save any of my seeds. And I really wish I would have saved my okra seeds and my watermelon seeds, but I did not. But this year I do plan on saving seeds, because seeds are getting expensive. I looked at those seeds in Baker Creek and Sustainable Seed Company. They're expensive. And I was like, wow, they went up. And I only can imagine with the plant starts. Last year, I noticed how expensive the plant starts was at the nursery. It was outrageous. I wind up having to buy some because my tent was full and I couldn't grow anything myself at that particular time. And boy, do I was kind of sick about it, but it came out pretty good. Howie is saying store your own seeds in the freezer. That's one good way to do it. But I never had problems with dollar store seeds. I never bought them though, to be honest with you. And when I bought my seeds from Home Depot, they were the sunflower seeds. And they didn't do well, but I think that was because of me. Not too much to seed. Plant starts are outrageous. Yeah, I mean, they're getting ridiculous with it too. That's why if you grow strawberries and they're giving off runners, connect that runner, get you a little pot or a little area, let them go on and run on and just dig them up. I'm telling you, and start you another bed of strawberries. Their strawberry plants were expensive, and I'm looking at these nurseries. Stock Brothers and Gurney's, they're getting a little pricey on their trees. Last year, Lowe's and Home Depot trees was like $32, something like that. Brought my tree home. It was my fault though, because I put that tree in the sunroof of my truck, and I was whipping I was whipping down the street. That tree just was a blowing, and I think that's how I damaged my tree. Howie, the Farmer's Almanac, I got mine. I didn't even bring it in here with me, but I did get my Farmer's Almanac. I got it off Amazon for like $6.99. Nadine's Secret Garden was telling me about it, so I went and I bought one. So I got my Farmer's Almanac for 2020. I've never followed it before, but she swears by it, and I hear a lot of people talking about it. So I just wanted to see what the hype was, and I'm intrigued. It's pretty good. So our Home Depot seeds did pretty good last year. Okay, great. Now the last push of the season at Lowe's, when I went and did my fall garden, and I had to find those kale seeds, they did actually really good. My kale seed, my sugar snaps didn't do too good, but my kale seeds did real good. And I was on the hunt. They were the dwarf kale. I was on the hunt for those seeds. Nobody had kale seeds, and everybody was kind of like putting their seeds away or whatever they do with their seeds, and I was able to come across some real quick. Bare root stock is not in a container. Did I miss something? Bare root stock saves a lot of money at feed stores. Bare root stock saves a lot of money at feed stores. You're talking about the bare root plant? The trees? It saves a lot because that saves a lot of money all across the board for everybody. Sophie, hello. I think I pronounced your name right. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome. You had great success with your dollar store seeds, Home Depot and Baker Creek seeds. Cool. I never bought them at the dollar store. And then I be watching the channels and I be seeing all these good deals, and I'm like, didn't I just leave out the dollar store? Maybe because I'm not going in the garden section. I don't be seeing it. But when I go to other places, I definitely be looking for, like, I can't go on Walmart. I don't care what time of the year it is without going to the garden section. I can't go on Home Depot or Lowe's without going to the garden section. I think for me, in the dollar stores here, it's hard for me to, I have a problem with a crowded space. And it's all our dollar stores here are so crowded and cluttered, you know, and I just be like trying to get what I gotta get and get out. So that's probably why I don't spend a lot of time in there to go through stuff. But our Dollar Trees are pretty good. They're wide open aisles and stacked really well. But our Dollar Generals and it's another one. I think it's Dollar General. They're cluttered, they're packed, they're overstocked. I can't breathe. Honestly, I cannot breathe in those stores, so that's probably why I'll never see them, because I can't go in there. But our Dollar Generals are pretty good. I'll get my gloves and stuff out of there, because I'll buy some dollar store gloves in a minute because I lose them so much. And if you go to Lowe's and check out, it's the same gloves, and they're like $8, $9. That's crazy. Okay, so Angela said her Dollar Tree seeds did good for her. That's cool. You have a great day too, Food Forest Permaculture. Thank you so much, and I wish you the best of luck in resolving that matter with your channel. I hate that happened. Jeff, hello, how are you? Batman movies. Okay, we got one. So definitely wear a mask. Smells bother you, peace. Yeah, I think it's just the clutter. The everything is so tight in there. Let me see what we got in here. Excuse me, guys. Me and my sister are can go in all the places you name without going in the garden section. I'm telling you, I'll go to Walmart and be going for something totally different. Get my toiletries. I'll be back in the garden section. Somewhere. Because I love it. Even with Myers, our Myers got a garden section. I'll be back there in that garden section. So, yeah. But there's this one place. I think I took you all in there before on a video. That might have been a couple of years ago. I'm going to go back out there and take you guys in there again. I can't name the place. English Garden, off the top of my head. English Garden is a wonderful nursery that we have here. It's really nice. It's a little on the pricey side, but you'll find stuff that you really wouldn't find anywhere else. And they have all type of fountain features and stuff that can go out in your yard. But if you hit Lowe's up at the end of the year, I got an awesome deal. I'm not going to be on here too much longer. I got an awesome deal at Lowe's. I got a cement bird bath for like $24. And it was a regular $50, like half off. They're, what are those plants with the big puff ball that everybody grows? You can start them from cuttings too. Angela has them. I've seen them in her yard. I can't think of what they're called. Hydrangeas. Their hydrangeas were, I think I'm pronouncing it right, were like $12 at the end of the year. They looked at it was a little sad looking, but you know, if you're a gardener, you can bring it back. You can nurse it back to health. And I wish I would have got some. I know nothing about them. I just know they're gorgeous. And I see them in a couple of my neighbors' yards. But, yeah, those are some beautiful, beautiful, beautiful plants. Hydrangeas. So that's something that I probably would want to get. I just don't have any room in my front yard for anything else. Nothing. Nothing else. And my front yard is, Dan, welcome. Thank you for coming in. My front yard is basically decorative. It's nothing edible in the front yard. It's just Japanese maple, stuff like that. So that is it. Thank everybody for coming in. I really appreciate you guys. I am mentally preoccupied today. I have so much that I have to take care of. I want to keep my lives on Monday going. I got a couple of videos that I need to put out. I'm gonna try to make it all in one video. That I need to put out by Wednesday. How to Garden sent me a really awesome package, and I'm super excited about it. Aaron Hall sent me some really nice seeds, and I haven't did the video on that yet. And Dave Hill Garden sent me some really nice seeds. I haven't did that. D Mills, hello, how are you? Good morning. Thank you so much for coming in. D Mills, my Alabama brother. So I got an Alabama brother and an Alabama sister. I appreciate you guys coming in. Thank you so much. It has been an hour already. D Mills, when I watched your video, I knew you was from Alabama. I was like, that's Alabama right there. My sister D was the city council president in Birmingham, Alabama, in Huntsville, Maxine Parker, before she passed away. So I'm not sure if you know of her or have even heard of her. How to Garden, thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate you, and thank you again. I'm going to put that video up, so I'll probably leave a message or we're connected, so you'll get the notification. Thanks again. I appreciate you. All right, guys, it is 1 hour and 2 minutes in. Let me see who we have. Angela, haven't seen you in a while. How are you? Terry Smith, hello. Thank you for coming in. It has definitely been a while, Angela. How are you? I hope everything is well with you. Terry, I hope everything is well with you also. I appreciate you guys coming in. If you haven't done so, please smash the like button for the host. And I am going to be out of here. I got to get my day started. Again, guys, start your, if you're ready to start your seeds, go ahead and start them. Get that soil together. Get it amended, because that is the base of your garden, your soil. If you don't have good soil, your plants is going to struggle. If you're on clay soil, think about getting some raised beds and building them up. And also, I'm going to give you guys a minute to connect with the wonderful channels in here. Check out D Mills. He's down south doing his thing out in his garden. We have to support each other in the gardening community, which will be great. Really good content. So go over there and check his channel out, How to Garden. Beautiful channel. Very supportive person. Check her out. Miss Farola, check her out. Just check each other out channel and give some support. This is how you grow. When you come into the live streams and you're connecting and you're getting to know people, when a host is in front of you, that's giving you the opportunity to kind of know that person on a different level that you can't get in a 10-minute or a 5-minute video. You kind of knowing the personality of that person, which is a great thing. So definitely check out each other's channels. Go over there, leave a comment, a genuine comment, smash that button, give them a thumbs up, and turn your notifications on so that you can be notified of them putting up videos. Because I'm telling you, if you're a gardener, a homesteader, a off-gridder, a fishing and hunting, that's all the things that I'm really, really interested in. I have on my other account, I have other channels that I'm interested in, but on my main account with Backyard Gardener, I normally like the gardening. I like the homestead. I like the off-grid. I like the hunting and fishing. Anything dealing with self-sustainability. And that's something that we're going to probably talk a little bit more about next week because there's a lot of changes going on in the world. A lot of things that we don't know and that we have to prepare ourselves for. And just have to be ready at all times and be prepared at all times. So thank you again for coming. This is your Backyard Gardener signing off with happy gardening, everybody.